Hello everybody, welcome back to 8 Metal Strings. Today I have a just quick video for you about building your selective picking tone since we've been working on the selective picking techniques for the past few weeks. So I find a very useful way to learn something new is always to check out what has already been done and what is available to you online. From there you can make little tweaks and adjustments, but you're starting from a good ground zero, and that way you don't have to waste all that time starting from nothing and trying to figure out where to go. So the first important thing to note is that we want to remove a lot of the harmonic frequency content from our guitar. And the best way to do that is going to be to switch to your split coil pickup if you have it available. So that's going to be the second pickup setting using the bridge pickup split. Just to demo what the difference that makes, here is just full bridge pickup. So the distortion in this preset I'm using right now is quite present, a lot of extra high frequencies in there, but now I'm going to switch to my split coil pickup setting, and here's what it sounds like. So it just really cleans up those kind of distorted high frequencies in the kind of gain, and this is really useful especially if you're using a lot of gain, but in general it's a good place to start. From there, let's check out kind of some broad sweeps of what is going on, and we're going to start with Tosin Abasi's selective picking section from Monomyth and see what he does here. And this is inside of his Archetype Abasi plugin by Neural DSP. So we have the gain kind of mid-low, about 9 o'clock. We have the tight knob basically turned all the way up, and that's going to remove a lot of those low frequencies. We also have the bass knob turned down a little bit from 50%, so it's maybe 10 o'clock. But then treble and presence are both turned up almost to 3 o'clock. And that's really going to boost those high frequencies, the attack, and the kind of bright, sharp sound of the string attack. The master and level and output and input and all those are set just to balance the sound out of your speakers. So don't worry too much about that. Just set those at the end to get the correct volume that you need. Notice as well we have this low frequency boost turned off and the high frequency boost turned on. So we have really 4 places where the high frequencies are highlighted here. So that's going to be this EQ boost, the tight knob turned up, the treble knob turned up, and the presence knob turned up. If we go and check out the EQ setting as well, we have the 1K dialed up quite a bit, 5K dialed back, and 250 dialed back a little bit. We can see he has increased the 125 Hertz a little bit just to kind of compensate for the lack of low end there that we're cutting out to clarify the signal. But we can really see there's a boost in those mid frequencies and a little bit of attenuation and boosting going on in the upper mid frequencies as well. A little bit of a boost on the high frequencies at 16K to note there too. Don't have any pedals on in this setting, but that is something you can do as well. If you find you are lacking some of that attack on the high end of things, you can always turn on the compression pedal if you have one available, and that will bring up a lot of those subtle finger motions and touching of the strings into the forefront, because it's just compressing your signal up. So if we listen to this for a second, we can hear on the low strings, we're pretty clear. There's no mud present. Even as we get down to the lowest frets on the guitar. Alright, so we just get really the fundamental of what we're playing and not too much extra harmonic content. So it's very clean, almost deceptively clean when you hear it. Taking this preset as a basis, I have made my own preset as well, and it's very similar. We have basically the same thing, except I've turned the gain knob down because I wanted a cleaner version of the sound. Tight knob is not quite as high. The bass knob is turned up a little bit more, but treble and presence are also still very high. I didn't really touch the EQ for this one, I just let the amp do the work, and in this case I have that compression pedal on to bring out some of those subtleties some more. So we can hear what that sounds like. So it's got a little bit more body on that low end, but it's still very crunchy and clear. And when I say crunchy, I mean more just like it has a bite to it. So every note has a kind of like snappy attack. But there's not actually that much distortion if we were to pick the notes. So one other example I wanted to point out is this Selective Picking Tones video by Robbins. And this is using the Archetype Mateus Azado plugin by Neural DSP. Everyone's a Neural DSP fan on YouTube if you can't tell. And he says this is his thumb tone, but he uses it as well for some slapping, and he does include some selective picking in how he plays. So looking at the broad sweeps of what is going on again, we have the gain and the bass turned down quite a bit. The mid is probably dialed in for his guitar and tastes, but the treble and presence are very boosted. There's a little EQ toggle over here where we have normal, thick, and thicker. So he has it at thick, it looks like, in the middle. So, you know, we still want some bass frequencies. We don't want to cut out everything, but we don't want it to be muddy. We can't see what he's doing on his pedals here, but I will take a bet that there's some compression. And if we looked at the EQ as well, there's probably some mid boosting, mid-high boosting, and low frequency taming going on. So I'll link this video in the description as well. It's a good one to watch and go over. He goes over this tone in particular at about 10 minutes or 10-15, so you can listen to what it sounds like. And just to finish this off as a bit of a proof of concept, I'm going to dial in as fast as I can a selective picking tone using a different plugin. So this is Archetype Plini. We're starting with the default settings, all the pedals turned off, and I'm not even really going to touch it until I think, looking at the knobs, I have what is going to be a good tone. So we're not going to do a lot of testing, we're just going to get that tone as fast as we can and see if those broad sweeps will get us close to where we want to be. So remember, I'm on my split coil pickup and default sound is this. So not much interesting going on. Let's see what we can do with this. So right away, I'm going to turn the gain down. I'm going to turn the bright knob up because we want those higher frequencies. I'm going to turn the bass knob down, turn the mids down a little bit, but then we're going to smash the trebles and presence knob up. Let's check our volume. Need some more volume. So I'm going to turn up the master and the output. That's better. From there, we're going to go over to the compressor, turn that on, boost some compression. A little bit less, but we're going to boost the level of the pedal. All right, there we go. And just going to add a little more gain and pull back the output here. Okay, let's check out the EQ. We're going to try doing kind of what Abasi did, where we're going to boost a little bit of the 1K. We're going to pull back some of these low frequencies, compensate a little bit with 125. So we're basically copying the Abasi there. He didn't do too much at the top, so I'm going to leave those. And let's just pull up the high pass filter as well to get rid of any sub frequencies, which, you know, probably don't exist anyway, but whatever. We'll do it just to be super safe. We're going to leave all delay and reverb off for now, just to get a very clean tone, and let's see what it sounds like. Alright, so I'm feeling this is missing a little bit of bass, so I'm going to pull up the bass, and I kind of want some more harmonic content, so I'm going to pull up the gain knob a little bit. Again, because I did that, I'm going to pull down the output and master a bit. And let's see what this sounds like now. There we go. That, I would say, is a decent selective picking tone, and you could play with that further, but really that only takes a couple minutes to dial in, and you're good to go. You're good to practice. So to reiterate, broad sweeps first, and then you can dial in little things afterward to get exactly the tone you want, but we're looking for mid to low gain, mid to low bass, treble and presence are boosted. If you have some sort of EQ bright switch like that, you can usually turn that on. Don't need to boost the basses any extra though. The mid knob, if you have one, you can dial it in to taste. You know, dial in the volume and the kind of output levels to suit your setup. And then if you have a compressor pedal, you can play around with that, turning that on and off. But most important, gain and bass are lower, treble and presence are higher. And never forget, selective picking works best on your split coil pickup setting if you have one. If not, you might have to play with the EQ a little bit in order to dial out some of those higher frequencies and focus on the fundamentals of what you're playing. So that's it, just a quick hit of a video today going over some selective picking tones to help you along in your practice as you're checking out these other things that we've been going over for the past few weeks. I will have the final video of the series coming soon, which goes over using thumping with selective picking, and then we're going to go into a little bit of detail about how to construct a practice session in order to actually get the most out of your time and maybe make some progress with all of these topics we've been working on. So here at 8 Metal Strings, I'm never going to ask you to subscribe or like a video or anything stupid like that, but if you want to support the channel, you can always buy me a coffee down at the link in the description. That keeps me fueled up to make these videos. Or you can leave comments and generate some discussion below and let me know your thoughts about what we're talking about. So today I would love to hear if you have any selective picking tone techniques that you want to share. So until the next one, I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are in the world. And as always, happy practicing.